Hi, Davi here, and today we have a new episode in the art session series. And today we're going to be we'll be doing a voiceover of a sketch I did. And I think we did a sort of fan art, or we referenced the character Gwen from like the Spider-Man Spider-Verse universe. And what I did here, I did have reference of like this character, but I tried to make my own pose. Meaning I tried to make it on the fly, and I wasn't so proud of it because it wasn't dynamic at all. But because I think I was trying to do two things. I was trying to capture like the likeness of this character, because everyone knows her. Like she has like certain attributes, like the pink, right, the hoodie, the eyes, you know, the blue web and stuff like that. So I was trying to get used to using reference in a way where I would acquire or pick like the main things that make that thing. And in this case, it's gonna be again her like costume or her like what she's wearing. But I think I flunked, or I didn't do as well when it comes to the pose. Like I did not even think about it too much. I was just focused a lot on the costume, which is funny because the two references I had, they were both like they had dynamic poses. Just think of like any Spider-Man or most Spider people characters, they tend to be like in this super dynamic position only because that's how they behave. You know, they're kind of like spiders and they just, you know, jump from one place to another. So they have this like acrobatic, gymnastic kind of vibe to them. But the pose is okay. It's fine. It's, you know, I can do better next time. But as a sketch, as a quick sort of concept study, I think it's good. And I actually started this whole sketch with a Lasso Fill tool. I've done this a couple of times in the channel, and I know it has been like, it tends to be received well because it's not like a common thing. It's kind of rare, or it's harder, I guess, to paint with it. But you know, there are artists who do use the Lasso Fill tool as like a common tool in their arsenal of art techniques. In this case, I decided to add a bit of opacity to my Lasso Fill, so I can sort of build up the values that way. You can do it with 100% opacity and make it totally opaque, but sometimes I like the look of having like multiple like shapes being on top of one another. Like I want to see that opacity a bit. And to me, it's easier to sculpt things this way. I do have like a set where I have multiple different versions where it depends on the opacity, like 90% opacity, 80% opacity, 70% opacity, and it just helps me to like it's good to have these options. So you can make that very easily in the Clip Studio Paint. I know in Photoshop we do have plugins so you can play with those, but I do recommend just switch to Clip Studio Paint just because it's just easy. So yeah, I think I did a good job overall in terms of like the vibe, but I do remember struggling with like the face. Even when I was drawing like from imagination characters like Spider-Man, I just could not get like the eyes right or correct. They were always like sort of off, and they almost always end up looking like some kind of alien. And maybe I do need to spend a lot more time, you know, referencing comic illustrations and stuff like that, so I can see how it's actually done. Because like what's so cool is how can you show an expression even if you have the mask on? Like why is it whenever I think about Spider-Man, I always perceive him, or spider characters, or these types of people, I can always feel the emotion in like the drawings I see or in the artwork I see, but I don't see a face. So they're doing something with like the eyes. They're changing the shape of it, whatever, to sort of indicate like the expression. So I want to learn how to do that. But I think I was trying to do too many things at once with this. I mean, yeah, it's like I'm referencing like I'm basically doing fan art, right, or a fan study, whatever. But I was also like another side of me wanted to explore like the face as well, which next time I'll do better. But I do know I need to do more focused studies on like the facial expressions, number one, but also like how does the mask actually wrap around the face? Because I already have issues drawing or painting faces already, so like from imagination. But again, I did have reference here, but the pose, the position of like the body was not in the reference. I was trying to make something up on my own, which made me suffer a bit. A bit, or it made me suffer quite a bit. So the references were useful in terms of like the costume and everything, but the pose, it was kind of, yeah, I was trying to be, I wanted to make something on my own, which is good, you know, you have to try. But doing this now, or seeing this now, it kind of showed me that, oh shit, I do need to work on some like more gesture studies, but specifically in regards to like characters like this, you know, like superhero types of people who have like more energetic poses. And yeah, the mask, I mean, it's not bad to look like a bug because they are spiders, right? Or they're based on like the spider concept, so it's not that bad. But I don't want it to be too alien-like, because anyway, I'll get better, relax. But eventually after this, after using the Lasso Fill tool with the opacity, I started using a round brush, also with I think opacity, to paint over some of those areas to sort of sculpt things a lot more. But I think for the bulk of this like sketch or study, it was mostly done with a Lasso Fill tool. Oh, and by the way, when you use this Lasso Fill tool, it changes the way you think about things. Like you're gonna be more focused on shape, because you don't really have a choice. Like it's technically the lasso selection tool, but it automatically fills once the selection has been made. And when you have this sort of tool with your when you're using this tool, you can't not think about the shapes you're making. So I think it's great for like, if you want to improve your shape design, I do recommend using the Lasso Fill tool. I mean, you could use like a brush, like an opaque brush, sure, but you have to clean up the edges when you do this kind of thing. So to me, it takes a lot more time. I think a sort of quick hack or a quick way to really like understand how shapes work is to just change your tools. And I believe the Lasso Fill is that person. So I did use like a round brush, but it's like I eventually stuck to like a round brush with all hard edges, because I think before that I tried using a brush that it's like a round brush, but half of it is like a soft edge. So you can see it maybe in like the arm, because you can see that soft edge kind of there. Like it's like a light pink, but eventually when I was like sculpting the face or the silhouette or the profile of the face, that soft edge was too much for me, so I decided to go for like a basic round brush. Yes, it has opacity, but it's all the way hard edged. So yeah, no special brushes here. It's just the basic brushes, the Lasso Fill, and some round brushes for the most, and a basic round brush for the most part. And I do like this approach. I'm not even using tons of layers. I'm doing everything here in one layer, and I think it's it helps you develop confidence, but confidence specifically in being direct, where if you make a mistake, you just paint over it, right? When you don't like something, you just hit the lasso selection tool, you grab it, you make a copy of it, you transform it, and then you merge it back. You could work on that new layer, or you could simply merge it back or merge it down to your previous main layer. And I think it's a much more fun, dynamic way of painting. It kind of reminds me of the process of Ross Draws a bit, where it's just direct, and he's using quite a bit of techniques like lasso selections, liquify. You know, like it's a very dynamic way of painting digitally, and I think this is something that I've been thankfully getting used to, because I need to learn how to employ the tools of my software. And for me, it's mainly Clip Studio Paint, but before that, Photoshop. But the point is, these softwares have so many like tools, and why should I hide from these things? I mean, yes, it's good to learn like the fundamentals without like these like shortcuts or whatever, but eventually if you're planning to make digital art, you need to learn your digital mediums or digital techniques, and it varies from artist to artist, so you might as well start now to figure out the tools or the techniques, the digital techniques and tools that make sense to you. So don't skip this. The same way you don't want to skip fundamentals, sure, don't skip the digital sort of software that's in your tips or your hands. What? Now I know Procreate has some tools, but I think you need like a big guy, and the big players here is gonna be like Photoshop and CapCut. Maybe Krita maybe a bit. I mean, there's like a tablet version. Even CapCut and Photoshop, I think they have tablet versions too. But yeah, you need like eventually if you're well, I know some people who use like softwares like Paint Tool Size, something like it's a baby version, a much more simplified version of like CapCut, and yet they can produce some high quality artwork. So, but it's not exactly a weak program. You know, it's pretty like powerful as well. So the point is, whatever software you have, although I do recommend CapCut and Photoshop and or Photoshop, you gotta learn you have to learn how to use that piece of software, and don't shy away from using other techniques, digital techniques that's not just pure drawing or painting. So anyway, that's it for this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed. Yeah, so you can check out my Patreon if you haven't. Please like, subscribe. I was gonna sell you my brushes, but I don't have any custom brushes used for this video. It's just like the round brush and the Lasso Fill tool. So yeah, I guess this is an example of how you don't need any custom brushes. Like the basics is all you need, technically speaking. So you gotta be honest. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.